Welcome to my Decan Walk. If you're new to this series, you may want to watch the introductory video first. See the link in the description. Over the past 10 days, the sun has been moving through the first decan of the zodiac. Today, I'll share a few reflections on what I observed during this period. This period covers Aries I, which is ruled by Mars and corresponds to the Two of Wands in the tarot. The sun moved through this decan from March 20 to March 30. Traditionally, this decan is associated with themes of war and domination. In his book on the decans, 36 Faces, Austin Coppock associates this decan with an axe. According to Coppock, early representations of this decan showed spirits or figures wielding a battle axe, though the axe imagery is missing from the Rider-Waite tarot deck image of the Two of Wands, the card associated with this decan. Coppock states, quote, "The axe is the primordial splitter, the first and still best tool for creating two out of one," end quote. He goes on to write about how life requires division for growth at the cell level, and quote, "All cosmologies begin with the sundering of the one," end quote. He offers the metaphor of a man using the axe to tame the world, to exert his domination over it, for example, turning a forest into lumber to build his home. In this way, this decan is about will, the will to individuate, to dominate, to create your own path. It is both one and two in number, not one in the unified or collective sense, but in the singular lust for freedom and independence. The two is always there, however, whether embraced, rejected, or ignored. The one seeks differentiation from the whole, and in doing so becomes two. The one sees the other as something to dominate. Aries I is the Two of Wands, not the Ace. In the Rider-Waite image, a man holds a wand in his left hand and a globe in his right, as he peers out from a castle wall over his dominion. But there is a second wand behind him, fastened to the castle wall, one he does not appear to see or pay attention to. This Mars is initiative, desire in its most immature form. It is the folly of the man who looks out into the world and believes that it is something he can conquer or own. This period is the start of the zodiac, and the sun is exalted in Aries. Think of it this way. The sun is the esteemed guest of Mars and is in his house of Aries. But Mars isn't in his home when the sun arrives, for he is still in Pisces. So it's as if the sun shows up exalted in this house, only to be greeted immediately by Neptune, having himself arrived here at the end of January. Does Neptune cloud the sun's sense of purpose or slow him down? Does he offer intoxication or dreams? Neptune will remain in this decan until May of 2029, so the sun will move past him in this decan 3 more times in the next 3 years. Will each of these transits be different? Will there be similarities? Once the sun moves past Neptune, he is almost immediately greeted by Saturn. Saturn is in his fall in Aries and is therefore weakened. What might he demand from the sun as he passes? Immediately after moving past Saturn, the sun hits a sextile from Pluto in Aquarius. So it was really only this past Saturday afternoon that the sun began moving away from these other influences to get a moment to himself in his exalted house. And then I had some personal transits. The sun opposed my natal Uranus in Libra on Saturday morning, and then was conjunct my natal Chiron in Aries on Sunday afternoon. What I noticed most strongly during this decan was a sense of impatience. What does it feel like to begin something? An astrological year, a new series on YouTube? It can be difficult to live in the present, as a beginning is by its very nature forward-looking. It is filled with anticipation and marked by the slow passage of time as our expectations dominate. Also, when will the cold weather end? When will the seeds I'm planting now bear fruit? I also felt the conjunction with Neptune. The day of the conjunction, it was cloudy, raining, and foggy all day. The following day was cold, cloudy, raining, dark, and I had an internet outage. Then, as the sun moved into the conjunction with Saturn, the weather cleared up and I had several days of productivity. I also noticed the first shoots of the peonies breaking through the soil, and I initiated new conversations and projects. In T. Susan Chang's book, 36 Secrets, she says, quote, "Pips like to count," end quote. Pips are the numbered cards in a deck. And since the associated tarot card is the Two of Wands, I did see many twos. Pairs of geese flying through the sky, a pair of ducks coming for a visit in our swimming pool. So as I look back on the week and reflect, I do get the sense that many things are beginning, both internally and in the world around me. I've tried to stay focused on my own experiences and not let external, mundane events color my experience of this decan. I also realize that it's probably not possible to get a real sense of this decan from this one 10-day period. But I feel like I know more about it now than I did 10 days ago, and I think that is part of what Aries I is all about, starting something without having it fully figured out yet. That's my reflection on Aries I. As the sun now moves into Aries II, I'll begin observing a new phase of the sky. I'd be curious to hear what you noticed during this period.